In this episode, we bring you a new unique take on the origin of Santa Claus, his personality, and a whole lot of unconnected rambling. This is World Explorers, a world-building podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to World Explorers, the podcast where we take a prompt and build an entire world out of it. You are joining us today on our actual Christmas special, unlike last week, which became an accidental Christmas special.
Whoopsie.
Yep, I'm joined as always with Isaac, and I'm Cassie, in case you didn't know. And yeah, hi everyone.
Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, I never know how to end the intro. I can start it just fine, I just don't know how to stop it.
Okay, so I have spent a while trying to come up with a new Christmas special idea thing. And, so I thought of a different, so we already did the world building for the North Pole. So let's try a different classic world building thing, which is somewhat, actually, I guess you could call it story building, which is Santa's backstory. And like there's the real life version of Santa Claus and Saint Nicholas that's already, we have that. But I'm saying something like Klaus, or how the Santa Claus did one, or something like that.
Yeah. So something separate from the Saint Nicholas story.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not too much world building. I'm sure we'll fit some world building into this, but a lot of this is probably going to be more story building than world building.
Well, maybe diving into some story building's not a bad idea. Still lots to learn from it. Okay, so Santa's backstory. The question is, do we want to go older than the classic Santa? Or because
I mean, we could either he's got I don't know, because he's
okay. Wait, Isaac, I have an idea.
Yes.
It's slightly creepy sounding, but I think it'd actually be really cool. So imagine that. So we're at the beginning of time, right? And there's this, the spirit is born and created with the creation of time, and its purpose is to go throughout the world, and it takes a good part of people it deems as extra good, and takes a piece of them and puts it into itself, and it's part of its personality, and over time it becomes Santa. Does that make any sense?
Kind of. So are you saying that there's a spirit that's going around to all the good people of the world, taking on parts of their personalities, and
I'd say one a decade, one is, I don't know, maybe I don't know, one a certain amount of time, maybe 100 years. Every 100 years, it decides who was the person who made the biggest impact of showing kindness, and then picks a trait from them and incorporates it into its own, how it helps the world.
Okay. And so it's incorporating traits, and it's not swapping out traits. It's not, okay.
No, it's keeping them all. That's how, and that's why St. Nicholas would be so strongly associated with Santa Claus, is because at one point the spirit picked St. Nicholas, and it picked his trait of giving to people, and did that through the stockings and stuff, and started doing that once a year.
Okay, so this could maybe be where different traditions with Santa Claus come into play. For example, one year, one of the 100 years, there was the guy, whoever it was that he picked, or that the spirit picked, just absolutely loved cookies.
Yeah, absolutely good.
It's okay, so this one shows great kindness, this one's generosity, this one shows compassion, and this one, this guy likes cookies.
That's what I'm taking from him. That would be a more modern one, I feel like. Most recent 100 years. Someone find me a really, really good, nice person the past 100 years who really liked cookies, and that's the person who got selected. I'm sure there's a real person.
Okay, so every 100 years it gains a trait.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so what would happen then if somebody well, like, let's say, how are the traits picked? Is it like the strongest quality, or is it the best quality? Because if the best quality is cookies, I don't think that would line up
No,
very
yeah,
well.
no, I don't think
Uh,
it's the strongest. I think the spirit has like a say. So the first one would probably have he would have taken it either from Adam or Eve, and what it would have chosen was the ability to choose. Like free will would have been the trait it would have picked up. Just because that's like a big thing that happened to humans in the first 100 years. Also, in the first couple 100 years, there's not that many choices of people, so we have that to keep in
okay.
mind. And over like how if we go with like the biblical standpoint of like a young earth, that's still quite a few hundred. That's quite a few traits it can pick up over the years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, let's say that it's about 6,000. No, let's say 6,000 years.
That's
That's still,
six
yeah, that's
hundred
60
traits.
traits. 600.
Yeah,
600.
600. Do we want to do 1,000 years and go with 60 traits?
We could do that. Well, the thing is, real life people have a lot more than 60 different traits.
That's true. We have closer to 600.
Uh, but at the same time, Santa Claus has been very cliche with his
Yeah,
sorts of
I feel like he
traits.
might be a
Like,
60 trait guy.
yeah, like if I were to name off the traits of Santa Claus, it's jolly, gives gifts, loves cookies, is fat, rides a sleigh pulled by reindeer, has elves, makes toys, um, comes down chimney,
Yeah, 60 sounds
running
good.
out of traits,
Yeah, yeah,
wears a certain outfit,
yeah. Okay, so 60. So
gives
every
gold.
1,000 years he picks someone. And that would also allow like Santa Claus coming into the story very recently to be like a thing that makes sense. Which means that
Okay.
actually if we think about it, we've had he picked a trait very recently. Like 21 years ago recently.
Okay, so this
So
trait, we'll say it's
I don't know
huh.
what's wait when so Santa. Oh gosh, I'm now I want to get like timelines of like when Saint Nicholas was alive. He was what century was he? What century was
Ooh,
what year
maybe
was?
the tradition of Santa Claus and the belief of Santa Claus, all this didn't start until St. Nicholas because he didn't get the giving aspect
Until
of
Saint
St.
yeah, because
Nicholas
Saint
until that point.
Nicholas.
And then and so people started associating St. Nicholas with Santa Claus because Santa Claus was mirroring St. Nicholas.
Yeah, I'm trying to see when Saint Nicholas was born. What year was it? 200. Oh my goodness, that was way further back than I thought it was. 270 A.D. He had plenty of time to develop giving and something. Okay, yeah, okay. So he was the one. We know that Saint Nicholas was picked for that century, for the first century during the first century. Interestingly enough, so during the first century, like after A.D., the first century of A.D. was Saint Nicholas's, which means that there was like one more in this century, and then yeah, that was about it. So there was two. Yeah, I don't know. I'm bad at stuff like that, but my brain doesn't like math.
Yeah, my brain is square.
Yeah, same. Yep, but yeah, so he was one of them.
Okay, so what else can we do with this?
Well,
Uh,
I was just giving a backstory. I
okay,
this
so that's
honestly
the
has
origin of Santa Claus.
yeah,
That's
yeah. My worry, but the thing about this is like, if you really want to develop this method, we have to actually go into history and like look at like great people of each era and pick what trait they want and stuff like that. And that's a lot of work
okay.
for a
That's a lot of
30-minute.
work, and it's probably going to make for a very boring episode. So instead, let's figure out where do the reindeer come in.
Oh, how we
How
got into
did
like magic and elves and
yes? Where did all of the reindeer come in? Because all the traits and stuff like cookies and coats and jolly personality, that's all is stuff from certain people throughout
mm-hmm.
history. Now, what about the reindeer?
I don't know. Reindeer. Okay, so we know that the spirit is associated with like the traits of people and taking them, for well, not taking them, but like becoming them, taking them as a part of himself. He's good at following good examples. So I guess like
So was a reindeer a trait that he took from someone?
I mean maybe being good with animals was.
Yeah, but why reindeer specifically?
Well, more importantly, well, the whole thing about the reindeer is that they can fly. I mean, I guess he's a spirit that's magical and came upon the world at the beginning of the creation of the world, and therefore, if he could have magical abilities to like bestow powers on reindeer and stuff. But honestly, I don't even know why reindeer were like what was picked in the original Santa. That always confused me. Like out of everything to pick, why reindeer? Because like, what started that? What started reindeer?
I don't know. That's a weird one.
Yeah, I mean,
Hold on, spit
do
it
we
out.
ever sit and think about these things? Let's ask some deep questions about Christmas. Why reindeer? If I type in reindeer, we'll just say why reindeer. Oh, look, why reindeer at Christmas.
According to traditional festive legend, in some parts of the world, Santa Claus's reindeer are said to pull a sleigh through the night sky to help.
Yeah,
That
we
is
know
not
that.
the answer.
We know that.
That is just what everybody knows. What they do.
I know why Santa
Okay,
pulls
they
them.
were very agile and could move and maneuver as well as any animal.
So yeah,
Okay, so why
but
not use
what sets
any
them
animal?
apart? Yeah, exactly. What's still doing it?
Like, why not
Okay,
bird?
it was a poem, and it was deer. Was the
Oh.
first time it was referenced by an anonymous author. Okay, because his mother would tell stories of reindeer. And then
Okay, good.
it
I
was the
just.
night before Christmas that did it.
Huh. Okay, while I'm looking this up, apparently all of Santa's reindeer are female.
Were there?
So that classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stop motion movie, that's wrong. like
No,
they
no,
have
no.
like
Well, the poems
I think there's like two
gendered
female
the
reindeers in
reindeers
that
as
entire
male.
thing.
Biology just tells us that couldn't be the case.
Well, I mean they're not reproducing or anything.
No, no. The whole idea is only female reindeer would still have the antlers and the stamina to do it during winter. Apparently, male reindeers just like during winter, like, we're done. Oh,
Well, I
the
guess
random reindeer fact you learn is that male reindeer aren't good enough in the winter to pull a sled about, so therefore they have to be female. That's interesting because
so.
I've noticed some movies will make a point that all their reindeer are female, and I guess they're just trying to hone on that fact.
So Rudolph probably didn't go any further than the foggy areas of the world, and then just sort of gave up and went back home.
Well, he was young, so he wasn't the reason the males put their off is because of like what they've been doing during mating season and fighting and like maintaining the herd and all that, maintaining their dominance and stuff, and then they lose their antlers too.
Ah,
So females keep their antlers because they don't grow as fast. And they don't need. It's this has just become random reindeer facts.
yeah, that's pretty much what this is now. Okay,
That's,
so um,
I still don't know why reindeer. Why? I guess it rhymed.
I guess
It rhymed with whatever the poem was working with, because the Twas the Night Before Christmas was the first thing that popularized reindeer. So the truth is, like, because it's based off of a poem, it doesn't necessarily mean like the Santa actually uses reindeer or anything.
okay.
Because it could
So
just
what
be a
would this
spirit that
say?
gives gifts, and we just add all this stuff on because we like to sell things, like poems and reindeer stuffed animals.
Okay, so does a spirit actually have a physical form, like a human-like form, as it takes on all these other traits, or
I mean,
does
it'd be
it?
kind of cool if it took on like a physical trait of each person and like slowly and just adapts
Okay, so one of them
accordingly.
had a lot of gray facial or white facial hair, and another one had big belly, and another one
Have very rosy
had a red
cheeks.
coat.
Someone had little black eyes. Uh, Big nose, I think, is another defining feature.
Uh, unique laugh.
Yeah, the laugh. He could take on the laugh with someone. So I think when people like look at him early on, like in the very beginning, if they saw him, he would just be a spirit. And so over the centuries, he's slowly becoming more human-like as he
Yeah,
gains.
maybe one of his first forms was basically a sort of an empty shell mirror of a human.
Possibly, or like you know when you look at something and then you look away and then you have to look at it again because you're not sure what you see, and then even while you're looking at it, you're still not sure what you're looking at.
I think so.
He's one of those.
Ah.
Like he's one of those people that no matter how many times you see him and talk to them, you just can't get their face down. Like you know them when you see them, like, and you can talk to them and you recognize them, but then someone asks you to describe them to them, and you can't.
Okay.
Type thing, and you just sit there going like, I think he'd always be like that in a way, but at the same time he gets like defining features, which explains why Santa Claus's images are so varied still. Like he's got these core features, but at the same time, like there's a lot of variance in how he's depicted, because the truth is he's always got that vagueness still about him, because at the core he's that formless shape that's absorbing traits.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Got some world building in there.
Alright.
So that means like a lot of things about him are still like he could still like cookies and stuff like that, but the idea of reindeer and elves are just things that we as a society have incorporated on, and I'm not sure if that's something that this guy would want to take on. Like he's a spirit that's focusing only on positivity, really good traits, like pure wholesome traits. So maybe like eating cookies probably isn't even one of his traits. He just eats them out of the kindness. Like, I don't know, a trait he got out of someone. A lot of cultures, it's very rude not to eat what's offered to you, even if you don't like it.
Oh, okay, so maybe people started leaving out some cookies for him, and then he's like, well, might as well go ahead and eat them. And then they said, oh, he likes cookies, let's make this a tradition.
Yeah, and now he's stuck eating cookies. And even if he doesn't like cookies, he still has to eat them because he's got this trait of, like, accepting... Because, you know, there's a kindness to accepting other people's... Yeah, newsflash, guys, Santa doesn't actually like cookies.
It would have been hilarious, like, if you had something like one of those Santa trap movies where the kid goes, traps Santa, and then it's like, oh, Santa, you're here. We see you. Here, have a cookie. And then he's just like, please don't offer me cookies.
As he takes the cookie and starts eating it because he has to, because it's in his nature. Well, I mean, I bet a trait's honesty, and if someone actually asked him, do you like cookies, I think he'd actually just be indifferent to it. Because I'm not sure if the spirit has taste buds and stuff.
Yeah,
or if
I'm
he
really
would just...
not...
I think he would just be like, whatever you left me, I would take. Like, you could leave me a can of dog food and I would take it and eat it the same way I would eat this cookie.
Ah.
To which the kid who spent 12 hours cooking these cookies and decorating them and pouring their soul into them and made a mess of the kitchen that the parents had to clean up might be a little disheartened.
This Santa can appreciate the effort that went into it and the way that they look so pretty.
Oh, of course he can. Yeah, no,
it's like they look very pretty. And I'm going to eat your painting now.
Thank you for offering it. He's very polite. Very well made. We wouldn't, this is definitely not like the rough and tumble type of Santa that you get in some shows.
Yeah, like the Christmas Chronicles where he's very grumpy the whole time.
No, this is not that. This is a, I don't know how to like describe him. He's
jolly.
I mean, yeah, I bet there's a jolliness to him, but there's also like this overwhelming positivity, but it's really genuine. So it's a really rare type of positivity, because you can have people can be positive, but it's really fake.
So it's like a non-scary version of Barney.
Yeah, a genuine Barney, like a truly, like, I am truly happy and this is what I want to be doing. This is who I am. He knows who he is, and he's proud of it, and he's happy, and he's content.
Story idea.
Okay.
He's always, the Santa throughout his entire life has always been like giving gifts and everything, and he's always like extremely jolly and genuine, and he's but he has this slight problem where he needs people to tell him exactly what they want in their letters, and because he does not fully understand humans.
Oh.
And so that's why he's always asking, like, please send me exactly what you want in the letter, because I don't know what to get you otherwise. And one of the reasons he doesn't fully understand humans might be because he can't feel any emotions other than joy.
So he doesn't get, like, sadness and hurt.
Yeah.
Because he only takes the positive aspects.
Yeah, and so maybe what the
But then again, wouldn't, like,
movie could be about is him actually taking on the trait of somebody, and that trait might be
empathy, possibly?
Yeah, empathy, or
I mean,
sadness,
it seems
or
weird
maybe even
that
just a mix of emotions.
It does seem really weird that after all of this time he'd be taking on his first negative emotion now. But that is a good story idea. Like,
I think that it would make sense for him not to take on any negative emotions, because, like, it could be throughout his entire life he's been actively avoiding negative emotions.
Because he does.
But then he
his
learns,
first,
no, they're actually kind of important.
Yeah, because his first choice was also, I did the math, and it would be every 100 years to get 60 traits for 6,000 years. Yeah. So it is good to have. He's good to have.
0.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, and I failed that. There was a reason I did English and not math. But yeah, so it could be, you could have the story take place 2100, and he's taken on his first negative trait, or you could have it had taken place at the year 2000 to 2020.
You could have it take place whenever you want.
Well, but if he's taking on his first negative emotion, has to be 100-year mark.
Well, we don't know the exact dates for everything when people started writing stuff down.
True. I mean, and I guess
we have sort of a rough estimate.
I always had this idea. Well, actually, how about for a way that he actually picks his trait is he kind of zooms through 100 years, like he kind of watches people, like he sits down for what to us in real life time is nothing, but to him is like a long time. Just going through people for 100 years, and then he picks his one person, and then he starts at the beginning of that 100 years and goes through, which means he'd actually get that trait of someone who's about to enter into the 100 years before, so at the beginning of the 100 years. That makes sense. Instead of at the end. Or is that weird and confusing? Because that might be weird and confusing.
I got slightly lost at the end there.
Okay, so it's time to pick 100 years has passed. It's time to pick his new trait. I guess maybe just doing it at the end of 100 years. And after 100 years, he sits down, and what's 2 seconds to us is he goes through everyone's lives and picks a person, and then picks a trait, and then continues on.
Okay, so he's making a list of the naughty, list of the nice, and then he takes the list of the nice, and he goes down through them, and is like, which one has the trait that I want?
Yeah, pretty much.
So what does he do with the naughty list?
I don't know.
Coal,
yeah,
I guess. One of the traits he picked up was sticking coal in people's stockings.
I don't know, maybe justice was a trait he picked up.
Maybe.
The feeling of justice.
But then your justice is sticking coal in people's stockings. I feel like this is like maybe a prank or something.
Yeah, I don't think he does this. He doesn't seem like this is a person who embodies everything good in the world.
Yeah, I'm not sure how coal fits into this
I don't think it
version
does.
of Santa. Maybe this is like one of those made up things.
It's like the reindeer.
How he likes cookies, or the reindeer, yeah. Like how maybe what happened was there was one year where a kid found some coal in the stocking because maybe his brother pulled a prank or trick on him and stuck coal in the stocking and took his gifts.
Yeah,
and so that became a thing where it's like, where his brother said, you were mean, so Santa gave you coal instead.
Yeah.
And so that became the thing, where it's like, if you're not nice, Santa brings you coal.
Yeah, or it's just a really mean parent.
Or that could also be it.
Yeah.
Parent trying to discipline their spoiled child. And it's just like, oh, I have to be nice, and Santa will give you, okay, I'll be nice all year now. Well, that was an easy lesson to teach your kid.
Yeah, and then 2 days later, breaking someone's toy or yelling down the street, as kids do.
Well, when you start doing that, you just say, "Hey, Santa won't give you gifts if you're
I
acting
can't
up."
wait till you have kids, Isaac, and you realize how that just does not work.
Well, I don't plan on telling my kids Santa's real, so.
Shh, Isaac, we might have kids listening to this.
Oh no! Because kids are so interested in world building.
No, I just hope no kids are listening to this because sometimes we talk about some dark and gruesome stuff, and you never know when that's gonna happen.
And honestly, if people are letting their kids roam the internet and stumbling upon random podcasts that talk about world building, I feel like there might be a problem.
Just a small one. Just a little. I mean, I don't put that our podcast is explicit because it's not, and that to a lot of parents just means, oh, it's okay for them to listen to. That's not what that means. All that means is that
No.
like we don't talk about we don't curse. I think is the only thing that means.
Yeah, that's the main thing, is we don't curse. I remember you said one or two words once or twice in episodes. I believe the narwhal had one word.
Oh yeah, I forgot you have your curse list is longer than my curse list.
It might be.
I think it is.
I don't even use like mild language.
Yeah, I use mild.
Except for crap. Does crap count?
My mom hates that word and I don't, but like it's not on my list, but it's on hers. My mom has a really long list. Like shoot. If I say shoot, she gets upset with me all the time.
That's a curse. Okay,
it's so annoying. I'm like, oh shoot, and she's like, stop saying that. I don't want Kaden picking up on that. I'm like, what do you mean? He's my little brother, by the way. I'm like, what do you shoot?
It's
shoot?
like the family-friendly version of the other word.
What do you want me to say here, Mom? I could. There's a lot of other words I could be saying and not. Yeah, she has some words where I say it anyways because I'm like, I don't know what else you want me to say here. Yeah, but
I see shoot appear in like Y7 cartoons. I don't think it's a curse word.
I don't think so either. I also know. I mean, we use hell a lot, but that's only when we're speaking of the literal hell.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only time I ever say it.
I use hell as like a loose curse word, like the closest thing I get to a curse word.
Yeah, although I did use it once for a title of a video because YouTube wanted it to be set for kids.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, stop it. None of us have been set for kids, which I think is good. None of these.
Oh yeah, please, like if these videos get set for kids, I will like die of laughter.
I will too. Imagine if like the Demon Banker.
Oh my gosh, I don't know kids. How. With all of like the words, like the title and the description, everything that we have in there, I don't see how that could be seen.
Yes, but it would be extra funny.
It would be hilarious.
We are very off topic, but I think that's kind of because we picked a really loose subject, and this episode's kind of just our chatty episode. That's our Christmas special, as we're a bit more just chatting about random stuff today.
Yeah, maybe our Christmas episode should have just basically been that. Should just basically been, hey, here's how we came up with the podcast. It could have been about podcasts. Here's how we came up with the podcast.
I mean, we still have the New Year's episode. We still have next week.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do a New Year's episode where we world build a new year. I don't even know what it would be like, but
we tell all our hopes and dreams of next year and hope that and forget about all the bad things of this one. Or we make up new horrible things for next year and see if any of them come true. Do we know one?
There could be. Minor world building idea. Maybe we might build on this in the future. I don't know. You have a new year, and when the new year comes around, all the people of this town, world, whatever it is, write down what they want to see happen in the new year, and it happens.
That sounds like...
Hold on. And there is no undoing it for the entire year.
Okay.
There's no way to undo it. And now you got...
Isaac, though. Isaac,
yes.
Have you ever watched the second Wonder Woman?
I haven't even watched the first one.
Okay, well, you should watch both, because they're the only DC movies that are good. And... I said it. No regrets. I've seen like scenes of the other one and just like I quit the others. Like I couldn't even get through them. But both of these are actually pretty good. The second one, watch that, and they'll tell you exactly why that's a bad idea.
I mean, it's giving me flashbacks to how the Narwhal's infinite wishes work.
Yeah, and that was just me just spending the whole time trying to stop infinite wishes because
Yeah,
if you watch the second Wonder Woman, people will know. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but people will know why that's a bad idea. Gotta watch.
Well,
you gotta watch it. I recommend it. It's actually.
Well, that's why I was trying to like put some limitations on it. Like, for example, once you try and do it, it can't be undone. And maybe there would be other limitations, like you can't want the end of the world.
Yeah. Oh well, I think we're good for today. Just like a nice short chatty episode where we did a little bit of story developing of Santa. A little. We sprinkled it in. Enough to say.
It wasn't anything major.
Yeah, well, enough to still say that this is a world building, world explorer episode.
Okay, so we're not doing a Christmas.
Yeah, last week was our Christmas special. I'm sorry.
Month. Yay!
Yeah, last week was the best Christmas special. If you want real Christmas special, go back to last week. We accidentally did it a week early. Okay, things happen. But
bye, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Oh, spirit. Tell me what started Christmas traditions? Oh, it says he stole a trait off of a fat man and a guy who eats cookies.
That was the creepiest thing. You just started, I'm just like, nope, out, I'm done, bye guys.